Expert Nicolette Barrett ignites business growth by revealing the ironclad strategy to leverage LinkedIn for increased visibility and success. This episode will leave you wanting to update your profile and learn about the untapped potential of the platform.
Welcome to Biz Help for You, the show that saves you the expensive learning curve by providing advice from industry experts in every facet of the entrepreneurial journey. Too many small businesses collapse. According to the U.S. Census Bureau, 20% fail within their first year, and less than 35% make it to their 10th anniversary. The goal of this podcast is to change that statistic. So if you're interested in learning more to be a successful entrepreneur, tune in today.
Now, let me tell you a little bit about my guest today. Nicolette Barrett, aka the Get Hired Strategist, is the founder and CEO of iRock Development Solutions, LLC, DBA iRock Resumes, and is the president of the Society of Elite Resume Writers and Coaches. She's a 4-time certified executive coach, an executive resume writer, a 4-time Career Industry Award winner, a 2-time author, and a dynamic speaker and trainer. Nicolette's mission is to transform job applicants into job candidates. She works to change her clients' mindset from employee to CEO of their career. Her motto is land the job of your dreams and create a career that rocks. She works with clients at various stages of their careers, most being in senior leadership roles. Testimonials from happy and satisfied clients keeps her referral pipeline full. She stands ready to help you land the job of your dreams and create a career that rocks. So Nicolette, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much for having me, Candy. I'm excited. I said, I sound a little bit impressive to myself. I was like, oh, was that me?
It's always fun to hear the background, right? And a little bit about your company and how you are, helping others. So I'm glad to have that. And that way others can see your expertise as well.
Yeah.
But I didn't share enough probably about you and how you started your company. So I'd love for you just to tell that story and how iRock Development Solutions came into being.
Oh, that's a great question because I was almost like an accidental entrepreneur, but always had the entrepreneurial bug. I'm a corporate girl through and through, been working in corporate America for over 30 years now, for the last company for over 29 and a half years. And one of the things that happened in corporate America, as always, we go through changes. So we were actually experiencing a growth spurt at the organization, and part of a leader's responsibility, because I'm in leadership, been in leadership for, at that time, for almost 20 years. Now it's been about 23 years now. You're always expected to develop your employees for that next opportunity. So it's a great time for the company. There is new promotional opportunities with increases in their salary. So they're saying, get these people ready. And I said, okay. So I told my team, hey, if you're interested in going to the next level at the organization, let's get you ready. So we had internal resumes going on, internal interviews and everything. And I've done it for the company for years. I've always been the go-to person to do it, but I always did it for fun because I love writing. And I love writing for people to elevate who they are. So I just started sitting my employees next to me. I tell them to write up their internal resumes and send them to me, and we'll edit them and make them sound better. So I have them sit to me and I said, okay, let me work on this. And I would ask them questions and I would edit it in real time and then just send it off. And then if they got an interview, I would practice with them with interview prep. Now, the exciting thing about it was so many people at one time that it actually magnified my results. So I had a team of 11 at that time. And in a short amount of time, I think about 3 to 4 months, my whole entire team, except for one, got promoted. And the only reason one didn't, because she was getting married and relocating to Texas. I'm in Dallas, Texas. So she was going to Houston, Texas. And so she was like, no, I'm getting married. So I'm going to be, being a stay-at-home mom. So I'm going to, not work anymore. So that was the only reason. So I just kind of shared some of my results just on Facebook, just talking about it. And then I had a lot of people across the organization start saying, yeah, you helped me do this. You helped me do that. I would write their performance reviews and they would get these big raises and stuff. And then I was like, y'all never even sent me a gift card or anything. Now, especially back, my career started in Chicago. Dunkin' Donuts is huge up north. I'm like, you didn't give me a Dunkin' Donuts a gift card or anything. And so it became a joke. And then people started asking me, how much would you charge to do my resume? And I'm like, I don't know, because I'm on the corporate ladder. I'm preparing myself to get promoted to the next leadership rung. So I'm focused on corporate. I'm a corporate girl. And so I said, okay. So I started charging enough to get a manicure and pedicure to cover that bill. And I just would do it for fun. And then these people start getting these jobs. And then what really turned it on its head was when vice president reached out to me and said, I need you to do 2 resumes for me. And so then she got a huge job and relocated to Washington, D.C. Not Washington, D.C. So that's when I said, I think I got something here. And that's literally how iRock was born, because of that. And all of the social proof that I got from helping people getting promotions. And 2 of my people who landed promotions of $14,000 in their increase that worked directly for me, they came to me and said, Miss Nicolette, if I didn't work for you, I would have paid you for this. And then one lady said, well, my husband just paid a person a whole lot of money for his resume, that you should do this as a business. I said, as a business, I never thought about my own skill set as a business. Now, I have done, the makeup I've done, and I'm a big scrapbooker. I even did scrapbook sales. I did those kinds of things just because I always thought that. I used to always tell my husband these crazy ideas of starting a business. That's how I'm gonna do this. I even had a French fry idea. And I told him, I said, one day I'm gonna be an entrepreneur. I just don't know what I'm gonna be an entrepreneur about, but one day. And then all of a sudden my own talent landed, and it was like my writing skill set. I know how to make people sound their best and take their words to showcase the value that they bring to an organization. So I call myself the wordsmith par excellence. And so I've been able to do that and then parlay it into a huge, not shouldn't say huge, but a nice company right now. And that's basically how it was born, just because accidental, didn't even know I could deal with my own skill set.
Well, I love that story too. And I think it's encouraging for others to hear too, because you can start a business even while you have that corporate job. And a lot of people think
Yes.
it's one or the other. So I think that's also helpful for people to hear that you're still doing corporate, yet you still have a
Yep.
business too. So you can do both. I know today we're going to talk about LinkedIn. And a lot of people think, well, I have a profile, I've got information on there. It's probably fine, but I would love for you to talk about, for your own like profile on there too. Like, what are some of the things maybe that you've added that you have noticed have brought attention to your profile that may help others realize maybe they need to update theirs and bring it a little more, current?
Yeah. And so one of the things I had no idea about, because I started, focusing on Facebook. Facebook Live was out. I was doing a whole lot of stuff on Facebook. And then I actually did a survey on where my clients was coming from, like an audit. And I found that the majority of my clients were coming from LinkedIn. And so I said, well, what am I really doing on LinkedIn that's bringing the people in? I've already updated it because, again, wordsmithing, just talking about what I do. But then I started really focusing on it. I made sure that I had the proper keywords in there. When someone is searching for my services, they would find me. I had testimonials or recommendations that were already there to testify to my ability to serve. And then I really made use of the headline, and not just that I'm the CEO and founder. That tells the potential client nothing about me. So I changed it to make sure I'm attracting the right type of clients for me. And then I utilize that background banner to really tell them what I do and the value that I bring.
Perfect. I mean, I think those are all important things to consider. And a lot of times we're just thinking like filling in the about section and, we'll throw something in a banner just so, it's not white space, but using all of that effectively is really important. So I think someone listening now could be like, oh, I probably should look at that now and maybe update those.
Yep. And you know what else, Candy, I was going to add to that too? And they have to go beyond that, because even in their experience area, what I've been really good at doing in my experience area, although my title may not be in the business that I do, I look for those keywords that I do in my day-to-day job that align with what I do. I have to coach my people. I have to make sure that I'm doing performance reviews. I'm making sure I'm looking at raises. All of those things that I do for an actual employee as how I translate it to helping my senior leaders deal with their people when it's done dealing with executive coaching and also writing. So I chose the things, not the day to day of me answering a customer complaint call. That's nothing to do with what I do. So you can look at your day to day job and pick out those things that you do and only highlight those in that job description within your profile and leave out the other stuff. And I always use the example of administrative assistant. I don't care that you answer the phone. That's expected. You don't need to
Right.
put that down. What do you do to add value to your department, to your boss, or what have you? That's what I want to know.
Mhm. That's a
Mhm,
great idea too, because I think some
mhm,
people think like, okay, well, here's my job and I'm going to put the basic tasks. But where you said, where do you add value? Like, that's the most
mhm.
important thing to really share because not that you're looking for another job, or especially if you're an entrepreneur, you've already had something. But
Right.
if someone sees that too and thinks, like, oh, like, all of these other like graphic artists do this, but this person does like this extra thing, then it makes
Mhm.
it more attractive to them.
Mhm, exactly, because when they see me and doing, and I'm still in corporate America working for the largest insurance company, Fortune 39 organization, multi-billion dollar, I bring a different level of value than someone who's a resume writer who really haven't had a corporate career. So it's a difference. So I speak corporate. I live corporate. I have lived corporate. So I know the big players when it comes down to being in a large organization. So I wanted to make sure I highlight that information to distinguish me from any other type of resume writer, from any type of other coach who probably got the certification, but don't have the background to speak to it. Because I don't want to speak
Mhm.
textbook. I want to speak experience. And my certifications only elevates my experience and my expertise. That's it. So that's how you can separate yourself. So, what in my day to day role do I do that lends itself to my job? Even if you're a full time entrepreneur and you're not working in corporate America or any job, go back and think about those jobs that you did. What did you do? If you're a leader somewhere, you had to coach and mentor and all of these things. What on those that will help lend what you're doing? An accountant may have their own firm, but they worked for years for another big major player. Talk about those results that you got there. So you have to be able to make that, connection to separate you from the people who do this, like what you say, Candy, taking their job description and just plopping it in there. That's not
Mhm.
enough if you're trying to attract those clients.
Right. So, in
Hmm.
terms of using LinkedIn for like posting content, right? Because a lot of us will put out there like articles or,
Hmm.
posts with, important things that we want to share. Like, what are the types of like things that we should be putting on there that's going to increase our visibility and our reach?
Number one, develop a strategy. If you're just putting
Mm,
out content just to put out content, then that's nice. But what are you really focusing on marketing? Say, for example, if I am trying to sell a job landing package on my website, I'm going to talk about everything about interviewing and making sure that your resume land an interview and all those kinds of things. And then say, if you need help, here's a solution for you. So you want to think about
mhm,
what solutions do I want to offer during this month or during this quarter, and how do I get my content speaking to those things? And that's strategy. Otherwise, just sharing an article and a post just because it feels good to you, it's not necessarily going to bring you the type of clients that you want. It may get you
mhm,
some wins here and there because they have for me before I learned this art. So I'm not saying I just all of a sudden just knew how to do this, but I become more
right,
strategic in what I'm doing and making sure that I'm
mhm,
posting stuff that's in alignment with what I'm trying to promote for that month or for that quarter. Mhm,
mhm. Well, and we know LinkedIn is a more professional platform than some
mhm,
others, and I know
mhm,
originally it was mainly only business content that was being shared, but I know I've been seeing some more personal
mhm,
posts periodically too. So I'd
mhm.
love your opinion on,
Yes.
what should we be doing? Should it be mainly professional? Is it okay to have some personal things? Like, what is that kind of ratio maybe that we should be doing so that we're using it effectively?
I love that you asked for ratio. Now, this is how I would look at that. It depends on the actual person. Now, if there is a person that's maybe a stylist and who's out there, A lot of stuff that's personal would be great. Personal out and about around town, showing what you're wearing because you want to show that that is in alignment with your style. So that may be 50-50. But if you're in an accounting type of thing, you may want to do only 10%. So it all
Mhm.
really depends on the actual business that you're in, on how much personal stuff that you want to share. And there's also opportunity to share some personal stuff based on your job. Say, for example, I have one of my mentees right now, one of my, I always say my baby resume writers. One of my resume writers was unfortunately laid off of his job. So what he is doing is parlaying that personal thing that just happened to him into showing people what they need to do to prepare themselves for their next opportunity, because he's also building a resume writing business and he's a former recruiter. So he's like, I'm a recruiter and I just got laid off, but here's my story. And so therefore it all depends on what your business is, on how much you want to do that. But I am very happy that LinkedIn has become a little bit more relaxed where you can share some of your personal stuff, because again, it goes back to the know, like, and trust factor. They
Mhm.
still want to get to know you. So I'll post like I posted me being in the hospital, because people probably like wonder, where is Nicolette? Because I hadn't done my lives. And I had to
Mhm.
tell them I had this traumatic accident. And so I posted that and people were caring and, sharing and, really concerned because they know me as this person getting on live, but she haven't been here. What's going on? So I had to let my audience know. So it really depends. But I would say set that ratio based on your industry and what makes sense.
Mhm. Well, and you just mentioned
Mhm,
live too. I think originally LinkedIn didn't have a capability to even do anything live. And so if you're
mhm,
using that now, like how do you effectively use that? And again, we've got other platforms that you could go live on too. So how do you decide even which platform maybe to go on if you have a Facebook, page and you have, LinkedIn or maybe on
mhm,
some other things? How do you determine which is the right one? And if LinkedIn is the right one, what do you share? How long do you share? Like, can you give some tips on
mhm.
that?
Yeah. And so what I found is LinkedIn is my main focus. Now I started with Facebook, and because I did so many Facebook lives, because that was the only place that you could go live, I was, I think, the first career practitioner on LinkedIn to even get the beta. So a lot of my
Mm,
career practitioners were like, how did you get it? I said, well, I've been doing live for years, and they probably researched me and saw that I was doing a whole lot of live. So they basically invited me to the beta platform. So I had it for a year or more before some of my peers started getting it. And so it's about being consistent and putting out there what you want to and how long you want to be on the show. So there's no magic potion. Like what I would do,
mhm,
sometimes I have a 20-minute show, 30-minute show. Sometimes I have a guest, sometimes not. But I will always making sure that I have tips that will help people further their career to entice them to come and do business with me. So you want to, for me, it's LinkedIn. And I would say go hard on any area that brings you the most clients. If you're a stylist, to me, that's Instagram. And if
mhm,
you are, and maybe even Facebook Reels, but if you are a B2B type of person, you want to be on LinkedIn. Or if you're looking at B2C, meaning professionals like me, LinkedIn. Yes, I still go live because I've already had such a presence on Facebook. I go live on all of them, but honey, trust me, all my content is total LinkedIn. And then it goes
mhm.
back on my YouTube channel as well. So people can go and watch it there. But I am all about LinkedIn for me and my business. And if you go hard in one area, you will see the fruits of your labor, and you can share it other places, but focus on that one. And that's what I do. Although I broadcast the other ones, my whole focus is LinkedIn.
Mhm. Well, and I'd
Hmm.
love for you also to touch on advertising and sponsored content. How can
Hmm.
those tools be used to reach a broader audience and generate leads?
It can, if you're very, again, you have to have a strategy. Why do you want to do that? And I've
Mhm.
always tell people, do not spend money until you maximize and optimize what is free. I even tell my
Right.
clients that do not invest in the LinkedIn premium until you learn how to use the LinkedIn free. So
Mhm.
therefore, if you don't have a strategy already with promoting free content, do not pay. First, try your free content. Look at what analytics and how people are looking, responding to you there, and then you have more to develop an actual strategy that you're going to pay for, and you'll know who you're targeting, what kind of content, or the people that you're reaching with your content. I had an example of a young lady who I'm mentoring as a new business owner. And she said, I'm attracting the wrong client. So when we went through all of her content, I said, that's because you're speaking to people who are not going to pay you. I
Mm,
said, so therefore, if you want these contracts, you need to change your focus and actually change your content to speak to that. So therefore, if you're going to pay for anything, I will always say, please optimize and maximize the free to see where your clients are, if your content is resonating with them before you pay. Because when you start paying and it falls flat, then you're out of money and you don't want to do
Right.
that.
Exactly. Well, do you have
Mhm.
maybe tips on, how to then optimize everything? Because you just talked about optimize and make sure you're using everything. And maybe someone isn't even sure what that means or how to go about that.
Mhm.
So can you give some tips?
Yes, keywords, making sure that you identify the keywords in your industry. For me, it will be coaching, career coaching, interview prep, resume writing, LinkedIn branding. Those are keywords that I'm going to talk about because those are the people who I'm looking for. And I'm also going to make sure I'm talking about senior leaders. Those are the clients I'm trying to attract, other who are either current or aspiring senior leaders trying to get to the C-suite. I'm very
Hmm.
specific and I'm very niche. So first, that's what you want to do. Make sure that you're niching down to who you really want so you can speak to that. Then you want to make sure that those keywords are throughout your post and those are also in your about section and also your content that in the actual experience section. And then choosing those articles or even writing your own articles or tidbits to also include those same keywords. And when you're using those
Hmm.
keywords and people get to know you for that, then you become the guru in that industry and in that area where people will be attracted to you. And then it's time to pay to play. And then you increase your leads by paying for the get a better return on your investment because now you know what kind of words that are resonating with your audience so you can attract the kind of clients that you want. So it has to be
Hmm.
strategic. And I'm telling you, Candy, I learned this because I was not strategic. Tell my people I mentor, I said, trust me, I have spent the money for you. I'm trying to save you, not to spend it, because I have learned through trial and error. So you want to make sure that you have a proper strategy before you invest. So I maximize a lot of free things first and learn the system and then invest. So that's what I would
Hmm.
recommend.
Well, and you've said strategy a lot, right? And someone might
Mhm.
be a little confused and saying, well, I'm not sure, like, what does a strategy for LinkedIn even look like? So can you give some tips on that?
Yes. So, say, for example, my strategy for 2024, I am repositioning myself not only just to be the senior leader, executive coach, and resume writer, because I'm now the president of the Society of Elite Resume Writers and Coaches. My strategy is make sure that I am attracting new and aspiring resume writers and coaches to my group. Because now I've done it for 10 years. You can learn something from me. So I am strategically doing my content and all of my posts to be able to not only talk to my B to C, which are my senior leaders through the C suite, but also B to B, those new resume writer business owners who need somebody like me to help coach and mentor them through their business. So that's the
Mhm.
strategy. So, what is the end goal? So, you look at the end goal to start thinking about, okay, I want to grow my group by 100 members over the next year. Every quarter, that means I need 25 new members. How am I going to do that? What kind of content, what kind of call to action am I going to do, and how I'm going to do that? So my content will be based on that. Then I think about, okay, how much do I want to earn from my B2C clients? There's that number. Then you kind of back out and you kind of wrap your whole content, marketing, promotion around that. That's the strategy, and that people always forget about doing in their business. Because if you don't know what your end goal is, how do you create a plan to get there? And so therefore
Mhm.
you can do, not to say that your plan won't pivot, but the fact that you have to do that. So when I say strategy, my number one strength finders is strategy. And I
Mm.
learned that in corporate America. My senior leaders told me, you're very strategic in the way you think because of the results I was getting. And I'm like, I'm just thinking I'm detail oriented. I'm organized, all of the fruitful things that we women say. And they're like, no,
Mhm.
you're very strategic. So I kind of own that word in corporate America. And so people will come to me, say, okay, you can see the big picture and help us organize it, which I did. And so now when I do that with my clients, hence I'm called the Get Higher Strategist, I'm like, you're not going to just get a resume from me or think we're going to create a whole strategy so you have a better chance of landing that job of your dreams and create a career that rocks. Because I don't want you to get the job, only get the job. I want you to keep the job too. So you have
Mhm.
to think about, what is your plan? If you don't like the word strategy, what is your plan to get the results that you want? Plan it out,
Mhm.
and that becomes your strategy.
Right. Well, I would love for you to also just touch on like building connections and even having the messaging between someone, because I know a lot of times I get those connection requests and then someone is also trying to just like, I'll be your digital marketer, and I get like 10 of those a week or something too, right? And so that can become a
Hmm.
turn off. But at the same time, I
Hmm.
do want to build relationships with people on LinkedIn. So for someone who wants to build relationships and maybe does want to send a message, but not have it come across, where it's unwelcome, maybe, what would
Hmm.
you say in terms of a few tips in that regard?
And basically start following them. Follow them and start looking at their content, commenting and engaging with them as a normal person. Because then you can actually tailor your inbox marketing message more toward what they are interested in. Because I've
Mhm,
had the same thing, Candy, and it becomes overwhelming that I'm like, I only can have so many people to help my YouTube channel. I only can have so many
mhm,
people who can do my marketing. It's like I can't, and even with people wanting me to hire them as a resume writer, I can't take everybody, but you don't even know me. So therefore, and
mhm,
then people don't even take the time to read the profile because I've gotten
mm,
invites for stuff. I had a executive coach email me to join her executive coach program. I said, "Did you read my profile? I am an executive coach. I don't need."
mhm,
That for that. So you want to be an executive coach? Well, I am. So you didn't even read the profile. So you want to make sure that you're building that relationship by commenting, engaging, sharing their content, and really getting to know that person. And trust me, Candy, when you do that with maybe five good people, that can give you a great income just from those five people. Because guess what?
mhm,
Once you get a relationship with them and you serve them well, that five people can turn into 10. And then that 10 can turn into 15 because they're going to tell people about it. So focus on
mhm,
those five that you really want to get to know and that are in relationship with you. I mean, had some where you can serve them and really zero in. All of the just putting out all of these messages, all of these people like, let me see if this spaghetti will stick. It's not the right method.
right,
Be smarter.
right,
And that goes back to having a strategy. I'm telling you, you
mhm,
have to have a strategy. Who are those five people that I really want to follow that maybe can help me do what I need to do the next thing? I just made a connection with the person who I want to go in and be the LinkedIn person. She has a whole big group aspiring business owners. I want to be the one who write their actual LinkedIn profiles for their business. So I'm developing
mhm,
a relationship with her right now to become that go-to person. That makes sense for me. That's strategy.
mhm. Right. Perfect. Was
Mhm.
there any other like takeaway you want to share with our listeners? Because maybe I didn't think to ask that question.
Yes, one of the things I find a lot of, and I also have to get after my clients about, especially my B2C clients, stay active on LinkedIn. Don't build a profile and then go ghost. Really
Mm,
leverage it and actually understand how it works. See what's out there. Stay on the cutting edge of all the different changes so that you can use it to your benefit. As a business owner, it's imperative for you to have a profile on there. No, you don't necessarily have to have a business page because the business page are not as active as a Facebook business page, but you want your personal profile to be up to date. And then if you're getting really good with it, you could change it every quarter based on what you're promoting at that time. So
mm,
just think about how do I use LinkedIn for my benefit, but you got to stay on there and be active on the platform so it can reward you like any algorithm because you're active. So I would always say
mhm.
exchange all of the TikTok, reel scrolling, Facebook scrolling while you're trying to build a business, especially if you want LinkedIn to be your go-to, swap that time and stay on LinkedIn.
Mhm. Perfect. Well, this has
Yep.
been so much fun, but I know we're getting close to the end of the time we have together. So I would ask if you have an offer that you would like to share with our listeners, and how can they connect with you if they want more information?
Well, they could connect with me at on LinkedIn, number one, and say that they listen, and I will be happy to give them a 30-minute free strategy call on their LinkedIn profile. So just inbox me on LinkedIn at my long name, Nicolette Barrett. Inbox me and say you heard me on the on Candy show, and I will send you a link to get on, and we can talk about your LinkedIn strategy. And if it's something that you want to go forward with, then maybe we can develop a partnership. But I will be happy to view it with you, and tell you what you need to do. 30 minutes.
Perfect. And your name is spelled a little bit differently. So do you want to spell that? So if anyone is listening and they're
Yeah.
trying to type and it's not what they're thinking and not finding you?
Yes, it's Nicolette, and it's spelled with a K, Q, and U. So here it is: Nickquolette, and the last name is Barrett. But usually, when you get to the NICKQ, you can
Right?
find me. I am the only one on
Only one.
Facebook. I'm the only one on LinkedIn, and I'm the only one on Twitter with that name.
Right?
Yep. Hmm.
Well, thank you, Nicolette, for being a guest on my show, talking about LinkedIn. I think it's very important for us as business owners, or even, like I said, in corporate, to have us
Hmm.
represented in a professional
Yes.
manner on a professional
Hmm.
platform. And so if someone is not using it, I'm encouraging them, to listen to what you had to say, put together a profile. And if you have something already on there, maybe revise it, update it. So thank you for
Hmm.
sharing your tips with us today. I appreciate it.
And thank you for having me. This has been great.
Thank you, listeners, for tuning in today. I hope you found this topic interesting and enjoyed the informative discussion. Would you please share my show with those you know and leave a review on your favorite podcast platform? I'd really appreciate your support. If you have any additional questions or comments, be sure to reach out to my guest at any of the links that they shared, or you could send me a message at media@abandp.com. I hope you can join me for my next interview. And remember, you can connect with me on Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn. And my website is abandp.com. This episode is sponsored by Affordable Bookkeeping and Payroll Services. If you are overwhelmed trying to handle the financial aspects of your business, ABandP is here to help. Contact us today to discuss your needs at 310-534-5577 or contact@abandp.com. My team and I are eager to assist you. Until next time, have a great day.
Thank you for listening to Biz Help for You. Please join your host, Candy Messer, again next time. Have a terrific day.